Hey, everybody. Welcome to X Talks. My name is Cody. I'm the Chief Experience Officer at Layer 1X. And as it was previously mentioned, for those that are just joining, we are diving deep into the wild frontier of Web3 gaming with DigaLabs, Tater Games, and Haven's Compass. And hopefully I pronounced this correctly. SAKABA? How do you say that? SAKABA? There we go. Yeah. So we're really excited to dive into this. I think we can go down a couple of good rabbit holes. If those that are listening in, they know I like to go deep on some topics. So before we do, first things first, let's do some introductions. So if you want to just jump on and give us a quick rundown of who you are and what your project is, and we'd love to learn more about it.
Sure,
For sure. Yeah, thank you.
I guess.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, after you. Yeah, thanks.
All right. I'll go first. My name is Gabriel. I'm the creator of NunuSpirits. Also founded a game studio called Tater Games, which is how we met Layer 1X. Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be an awesome space, so I don't want to get too much into, all my stuff. Everybody can find that. I'll probably just throw something up in the Jumbotron so people can investigate at their own leisure. We're building a game that's all about having some fun, playing some games together, and planting real trees in the real world. And we've already planted over 20,000 trees with our system. So we're hoping to do more of that and inspire others to make real world impact with their projects as well. So thanks for having us here, Layer 1X. And it's great to be on the panel with some amazing speakers. So please do check all of them out as well.
Perfect. That's awesome. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much. So maybe the next one is me. So actually, we are building SAKABA. SAKABA is an interconnected network for Web3 games, and we utilize V3.3 and also VNFT and Bright Market ecosystem for Web3 games. So we use very basic contract of DeFi protocol and utilize it as in Web3 gaming industry. Our vision is optimizing opportunity in Web3 gaming ecosystem. Like Web3 gaming ecosystem is kind of mixing a lot of layers, such as pure gamers and traders and investors, and also alpha seekers, and also airdrop hunters, So we're building a network for each loyal system, loyalty for a trader, loyalty for gamers, and loyalty for investor, loyalty for airdrop hunter, and making a gamer's ID based on gaming activities, and we incentivize such activity by with VNFT and V3.3 system. As a background, like we already working with Elder team, and quite like interested in this Layer 1X, like our podcast and also this AMA, So I'm so glad to be here and looking forward to talk about interoperability and also gaming industry, So yeah, that's about SAKABA and myself.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think I can go. So I'm not sure. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Loud and clear.
All right. Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for having us. My name is Aboud. I'm the COO of Haven's Compass. What our game is all about, it's a first-person shooter. It's a tactical game. It has high-level weapon abilities. You can modify them and so on. So it's an FPS, literally said. Our game is hosted on the Epic Games Store. So it's one of the first, if not the first, Web3 game to be on the Epic Games Store. We can download it. Until now, we've had over 25,000 downloads, thousands of games played, and we're incubated by DeFi.
Perfect. Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So did we hit everybody? I think we did. How about DigaGuard? Well, maybe they can come on a little bit later and give us a little. Oh, are you there? Can hear you now.
Hello.
Yep, can hear you.
Hi. Oh, hi everyone. I'm Lucy. Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to give us a little rundown about your DigaGuard and what you're creating?
Looks like we might be having some connection issues.
Yeah, it looks like we might. Okay. Well,
Bummer.
if we can get DigaGuard back up and have him tell us a little bit about himself and the game, that would be great that they're coming out with. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to hear about it. So in the interim, we'll kind of start diving into some questions. How does that sound? So
Sure.
Yeah, so let's just make this a quick little kind of a open panel. There's going to be no real questions directed at anybody. Feel free to jump in whenever you want, and we'll just talk about a few different topics here, and try to go down a couple of deep rabbit holes on some of these. So, with that being said, let me just pull up my list of questions here. So, first question I have is, with all the problems that your project may be facing and trying to solve in the gaming space, how do you differentiate yourself from other games within the Web3 space?
I think I can jump in right away and answer that question as a beginning, if that's fine. I think the main problem with the Web3 games is the complexity that a lot of people are facing. So some people that just want to play a game in specific, not really familiar with Web3 itself, they're going to have a few issues here and there when it comes to blockchain elements. So how to create a wallet, what to do with that wallet, how to, save the seed phrase and whatnot. Anything that has to do with the blockchain that the people are not really very much interested about, especially if they're not Web3 gamers. I think that is the main issue in the Web3 gaming space. Apart from, of course, the tokens and whatnot that happened 2 years ago. I think we're all familiar with what went down with the games in 2021, right? So for us, we're solving that issue in just completely, so to say, hiding the blockchain element. It's in the back end. It's in the background of the game. We're focusing on the game itself. So if anyone wants to play the game, they can, as simple as that. If anyone wants to use the NFTs, if anyone wants to use the tokens that they're going to get throughout the game, they can also. They just need to know how. And of course, what we're doing is we're going to introduce that and make it easier for those who want to use these things to do them. So as in give them a bit of a crash course on how to do stuff, let's say it like that. And I think that's a very important thing to do for, to draw as many people as possible into the Web3 gaming field or niche.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you on that one. That's for sure. Definitely sounds like user experience is a focus for Haven's Compass over the next year or so, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our game is planned to launch fully by the end of this year. We already had an alpha and a beta that we released to our community for them to test it out, for us to get the good feedback so we can fix things. And that was already last year. So that's one of the things that we're seeing also in the space, that a lot of games are releasing everything, NFTs and tokens and whatnot, but they're not releasing a game. What we did is actually we released the game before we did anything. For the people to actually give us feedback on the game itself. And we're making sure that this game is the most fun to play and that it's quite stable. And as soon as our community gets familiar with the game, that's when we're going to launch the rest of the planned launches. So let's say there's a mint that's going to happen soon, a free mint on Scale Network for NFTs. So everyone's going to be familiar with, okay, yeah, I played Haven's Compass. I liked that game. I tested it out. I gave them feedback. and now I'm gonna go and grab myself that free mint. And that's how we're doing it.
Oh, that
That's
sounds
awesome.
sounds amazing.
You know,
Thank you.
Web3 is kind of like asking somebody, you know, a Web2 person to go and run a JS application from the command line interface to, you know, search for a restaurant. You know, it's like
That makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more people take Haven's route this year with this run, trying to, uh, like you said, hide Web3 functionality, and onboarding processes will become more simple. There's a lot of companies and projects that are coming up now that are just working on making that as easy as possible. And I mean, that's really what we found. Everybody was kind of preaching back in 2021, everyone's coming to Web3. And now everyone's kind of realized that nobody really wants to go through those extra steps. Still, like 95, 99% of people don't want non-custodial wallets. They want somebody to be able to recover funds for them, reverse transactions if something goes wrong. You know, there's lots of things that, you know, centralized value transfer does for the average user that they're not ready to give up on yet.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. Like, my background in the real world has come from developing SaaS products and things like that. So user experience is definitely right up our alley of what we're trying to accomplish, specifically with Layer 1X. You guys have
Well, and that's what we're talking about here today, interoperability. Like, no one cares if you're using T-Mobile or Orange or AT&T or whatever. They just want to be able to call you. That's the bottom line, you know?
for sure.
And so to restrict interaction, digital interaction based on some what super abstract, you know, such as the chain, you know, such as a decentralized protocol for a ledger recording is just, that's too far for average user.
Yeah, at Layer 1X, we call that keeping everything under the hood. So it's trying to keep it simple. We have a term that we've used over the course of the year, this past year, is we want to make crypto so easy that grandma can do it, right? If we can make it so that she doesn't have to ask her grandson or her granddaughter to help her purchase crypto, play a game, do whatever it is, we've succeeded as, you know, people within crypto to try to drive that adoption. So it's great to see you guys are definitely focused on that this year. So does anybody else have anything they want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just hop in there, I guess. NunuSpirits is unique, and of course that it's actually trying to do something for the real world. All of our NFTs are tied directly to trees planted in the real world by verified partners that are either on chain or have record keeping that is in line with local governments, such that it can't be double counted or obfuscated. Yeah, I think we kind of have a little side niche in that we are a cooperative game. Our multiplayer is in the works, but our multiplayers won't be like PvP. They'll be more team versus conditions. You know, so playground things. You know, like ultimate frisbee, capture the flag, these type of things, but more asymmetrical, more like Overcooked. You know, where you're all working together to get the recipes out the front door as fast as you can. So yeah, I guess those are our two eco niche and cooperability.
Perfect. Thanks. That sounds interesting. And how many trees did you guys say that you guys have planted so far? Is it 20 or 25?
20,000. Yeah, 20,000 plus. We got another 500 going in soon, and there were about 3,000 or so planted in the alpha stage. So yeah, we're over 20. We're just over 22,000 probably in all
Oh,
told.
that's awesome. Kudos to you guys for sure. So I'm curious, where do you guys plant these trees at?
So most of the trees have so far been planted in Africa, and some of them have been planted along coasts. We have some friends who plant mangrove trees along coastal areas to help restore and protect coasts from inclement weather, and it also rejuvenates those biomes quite quickly. One of the things that we like to focus on is not just chucking trees in the ground, but working with people that are planting trees in such a way that it's more restorative, and then it restores ecologies for fauna as well as keeping soil in contact. We have a great partner in Australia called Airseed. They're planting trees out in the Australian bush, which I just saw a thing pop up in social media on how big Australia actually is, and all of Europe basically fits inside of Australia. So everybody thinks, oh, Australia, it's a small island down, and it's not a small thing at all. And there's some quite significant challenges to reforestation in a lot of those kind of unpopulated territories. And that doesn't mean that there aren't ecologies out there. There aren't animals out there that can benefit from rapid or enhanced reforestation after, things like brush fires and stuff like that. So pretty cool stuff.
Interesting.
All around.
Interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Does anybody else want to add?
No problem.
Add anything else to the question before I move on to the next one?
Sure. So let us try to explain kind of differentiation and what is kind of unique point of SAKABA. So yeah, previously you mentioned about why your game is unique, but SAKABA itself is not really actual gaming. It's more liquidity hub and also infrastructure and gaming engine for all the Web3 gaming. The unique point of SAKABA is as I mentioned before, we utilize in very basic contract of DeFi protocol such as NFT and also bright market and liquidity point. So actually we forking learning contract of Velderom, which is one of the most popular DeFi protocol on Optimism. In the previous gaming industry, Web3 gaming industry, even that's pretty young, but there was really good enough DeFi fork or utilizing a DeFi ecosystem, a voting ecosystem, for Web3 gaming ecosystem. But we actually from crypto and also DeFi Aussie guys, and also 50% of our members are based in Japan and Korea. So if they are a really popular country of gaming, so we totally believe we can utilize very basic and contract of DeFi evolve and revolution from these few years for Web3 gaming. And the gaming itself, we have more than 1 billion gamers all over the world. So the biggest opportunity and the biggest market is for gaming. So we totally believe gaming is the next step for crypto. It's been a mass adoption. So and also incentive system, voting system, decentralization system of DeFi protocol is the best way to evolve the Web3 gaming to the next step. So I think that's quite a unique point and also a differentiation of SAKABA protocol than other ecosystem or infrastructure. But I totally respect to all the infrastructure, such as Layer 1X as well, that's you guys doing a really amazing job, So yeah, we are in a different field, but totally respecting you guys as well. Yeah. But yeah, that's the question, for adding to other people's answer. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. A lot of good insight on what makes you guys different for sure. So I see that we've got DigaGuard back up. Do you guys want to try try coming back up on, speaking a little bit about your project real quick before we move on?
Yes, hello. You guys can hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, sorry, I got to interrupt with my connection. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Lucy, BD lead at DigaLabs. We have two projects. One of them is DigaLabs, which provides Web3 solution for games. And the other is Elderun, which is a game factory that builds interoperable games and medieval themes. We have 4 different games right now under development. One of them is World of Elimnias, which is an idle games. Has 4 different modes. 3 of them are idle games, and one of them is action RPG. And also we have a trading card game called Heroes of Elderun, and one story game is Elderun Journey, and the MOBA game is called Eldrash. So, yeah.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Do you have any comment on the first question I asked?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the connection while my internet connection corrupted.
No, you're fine. I was just, the question was, what problems is your project trying to solve in the gaming space, and how does it differentiate yourself from the other games?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me answer this question quickly. Well, we have 4 different games, and for every type of players. So we want to build games for fun games for every type of players, and with these games, we have only one token, Elder token, you can use for different games, and also all our NFTs are interoperable with these 4 NFTs. So we are providing like various games and various assets to be able to playable for all type of gamers. And we are doing it on chains, and we will be able to integrate via Layer 1x across all of chains. So we will be accessible across different platforms, across 2 different communities.
Perfect. All right. Sounds great. Thanks for sharing. Which is a great segue into our next question. Most Web3 games are pretty siloed on their own blockchain, making it difficult for players to move assets and interact with other games on other chains. This potentially limits true interconnected and immersive gaming experience. What are your guys' thoughts on interoperability, and how will that play a role in your guys' game and platforms moving forward?
Well, there's definitely a lot to say about that, actually. Well, interoperability in general is something that really enhances game experience. There's like an impact on several things, when it comes to the tokenomics itself, the community and how large it can be. So what we're doing, actually, we do have partnerships with multiple chains, so 4 of them right now. That's why I said like the next free mint is going to be on Scale. The next one is going to be on a different chain or network, and it's a very good thing to have, because it's going to connect a lot more people from the community into one game. As said before, it's all, as you said, actually under the hood. So no one really cares which blockchain we're using, except when it comes to the NFTs. For us, it's only important to be, let's say, EVM friendly, because EVM, there's a lot of networks that can be used under the same wallet, which is going to make it much easier for these players and for us in terms of development, instead of having several wallets and then connecting so many different things to each other. Mm-hmm. So I think that is one of the very important things to say when it comes to this.
Yeah, I think EVM compatibility is kind of being established as the standard touch point if you're looking for interoperability, and it's got to start somewhere, right? There's got to be some sort of agreed upon protocol, and I think that the way Ethereum was set up, it was kind of set up to be that from the very, very beginning. And I think that shows pretty enormous foresight for kind of the nascent state that the industry was in at the time when Ethereum was created. And of course, it was still proof of work back then, which, there's been constant evolution since then. We even have, ZK layers, which allow even faster transaction speed and stuff like that. So, we'll continue to see evolutions like that. But I think as long as there's that touch point, that kind of agreed upon standard protocol, which is what we did with, Web2, we had HTTP and HTTPS protocols for, basically sending a letter. So as long as we have that in place, I think we can move forward and we can explore all of those exciting opportunities. Like Haven was saying, we look forward to having mini games with all of our partners involved. We have some amazing partners like SAKABA Ecoverse. They're very heavy into the eco side of things. We have Skytopia, which has amazing cute characters, and we're seeing some amazing strides happening from others in the industry. And there's always talk of, can we do some crossovers? Can we, have our NFT show up in your game? And that was always kind of one of those underlying benefits that was sold with NFTs in the first cycle, that first NFT boom, was that NFTs could be used by anyone across any gaming system. And while that is true on a technical sense, it was never really realized. So, we do have a lot of space to make up with regards to that. Like, how can we just use our NFT in somebody else's game? So how could Nunu show up in Haven, for example, or one of Haven's NFTs show up in NunuSpirits? And without overburdening the dev teams, which developing games is already a huge endeavor. Trying to figure out how all of that is going to play together well. We need tools and stuff like that to come into the scene to help make those easier. And I think the only way to do that is just by, developing good partnerships with really strong partners, games, and exploring those. And then from those will come, again, that kind of EVM level of interoperability, that kind of interface layer, so to speak. That will allow people to do that more easily in the future.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just to add to that also, when it comes to having EVM friendly, or let's just call it one similar type of protocol that everyone's working on, then we can skip all the, I don't know if you guys saw what happened also 2 years ago, and it's been happening over and over, the random bridges that they just lock an NFT and then unlock it somewhere else and mint it. That's too much random work in a way or another. So it's definitely better to have these proper partnerships in place.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we wanted to be as multi-chain as possible. We launched our token, we minted on Ethereum, and we bridged to BSC and Avalanche. Unfortunately, we did that through multi-chain, and that doesn't work anymore. So it's like, now what? It's like, you guys were promising a service, and like, to be fair, they can't do anything about it because they're behind bars. But still, that doesn't do anything for us in the ecosystem. So we need to find an alternative. We need to do better this time around.
Agreed. 100%. 100%. All right.
I actually think that's why we started talking with Layer 1X in the first place. It was like, yeah, how are you guys with bridges? And like, bridges? We don't need no stinking bridges.
Exactly. Hashtag burn the crypto bridge, right? So, yeah, it's.
But when it comes to the same game, then it's easier, If it's one game and using different NFTs from different chains, then it's a simple thing to do. But when it comes to two different entities trying to work together in one thing, then yeah, the bridge is very nice stuff.
Yeah, and this is kind of interesting because I did have a follow-up question to that original question, and it was, what do you guys think the long tail effect will be on, introducing, once everybody gets hooked onto interoperability, if that's through Layer 1X's XTalk or if it's through a bridge, heaven help us if they do that. But what are the long tail effects of what it is? And we've kind of touched upon it and with the NFTs, but what are some other long-term or long tail effects that might happen and occur as a result of interoperability, like you guys said, bringing in
I think we'll see an explosion of user-generated content, an absolute explosion. We've already seen some huge successes with UGC, Ark, Survival, for example. Even some amazing franchises have spawned off of essentially user-generated content or modding. Dota, for example, Call of Duty had their own stuff. It's going to get crazy. That ability to participate and own, the content that you're creating, be compensated for it without having any sort of, jury or, benevolent benefactor inside of, the corporation that owns those entities. If you own the NFT, you will own the ability to do things with that and profit from it, which is just going to take that scale of industry and do something that we've never seen before. In my opinion, I think this is going to be something the likes which people are talking about AI right now and how amazing that tool is, leveraging the human factor in this, the amount of creativity that's going to come from it. It's just going to be unprecedented, in my opinion.
There's a lot of innovation that's going to happen also after that. Think in terms of game development or just the game design, like how people are going to innovate when it comes to how they design their game for something to keep going on for the future. I mean, for us, we're going to have multiple games after this one. Obviously, we're a game development studio, so we're not going to stop at one game. So it changes the whole game design. So you start thinking, and how can I make something in this game that's going to continue to the game after it? So imagine you have something
Totally.
from, let's say something like Modern Warfare 2, or you have a skin, you have something there, and then you're moving on to the next game they release, and you can still use that same skin, or you can still use that same whatever, in terms of a first-person shooter now, but any other game can have the same thing.
Overwatch had the huge problem trying to switch to Overwatch 2. They alienated a huge amount of their community. They basically relaunched essentially the same game, but then wanted to resell all of the skins over again. And the community was like, what the actual heck? And it's like, well, why can't you tokenize that and have those, transferable? You can certainly provide more, updated skins and stuff for sale. There's always going to be people buying the newest, latest, and shiniest things, but Magic the Gathering is also having that issue with, release schedule being too fast. Most of the majority of the Magic community is like, slow down, you're putting too much stuff out there. And then every time that, they try and put AI inside of their, artwork or their marketing promotion, the community erupts, it's just, they just can't do anything right because they're not trying to build a good product. They're just trying to build as many products and sell as many products as possible. And so, again, I think this is something that Web3 also kind of allows you to understand as a consumer and participate in, that kind of the growth of those systems. And, we're looking at essentially having our holders act as node generators for the currency that we will sell in game. So We haven't released our hard currency yet, but we will have an in-game hard currency. It is a completely free-to-play game, so it does have that mechanic in there. But the problem with a hard currency in all of the games that we have out right now is that it is 100% centralized. I mean, it is more centralized than anything you can imagine in your head right now, as far as a centralized currency goes. It can be changed on a whim from day to day, and it often is changed. And there really isn't any recourse for the purchaser of those currencies. They can get mad, they can rage quit, uninstall, or whatever, but it doesn't matter to the centralized authority that changed that currency because they've already, acquired new users. And that's not cool.
Not at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Let's move on for the interest of time. Let's move on to another quick topic, but that was a good one. I'd love to go down that rabbit hole again with you guys and deeper, maybe another time.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Sure.
Anytime.
Yeah. So moving on to kind of where we've touched upon with the last topic was, we mentioned Web3. And if we kind of make that migration from Web 2 to Web 3 experience, it's all about giving the user control over their identity, control over their data, and that could be gaming data. It could also be the ability to have them able to customize their own experience. How important is customization with you guys moving into Web 3? For the users, for being able to control their data, have access to their data, stats, things like that.
Go ahead, Haven. I see you off. If you wanna start that one off, but yeah,
I'm always off mute actually. My mic is almost always on. But yeah, sure.
All right.
I think well, first of all, like, we all need to work to draw in Web 2 players, regular gamers, into Web 3. The first and foremost thing to do is actually give them confidence. And in order to give a gamer confidence, you need to give them the ability and the chance to actually control whatever is in our hands, let's say. If it's user data, if it's their equipment in game, if it's their credit in game, if anything that comes with that, they have to see it as clearly as possible. And I think that's exactly where it starts. So if you can give the gamer confidence, then you have it. They're going to be there. They're going to play that game. They're going to enjoy it, and no one's going to worry about anything. So imagine a gamer that is playing has been playing a specific game for a while, and all of a sudden that game is, I don't know, out of support or deleted, or he's been playing thousands of hours to get these few weapons and unlock a new sword or unlock a new, I don't know what, and all of a sudden you're removing that game. They're going to lose all trust, and they're going to lose that confidence in this game itself, because they couldn't control their own assets, which you're holding for them.
Yeah, there was a Bronies game recently. It was them's fighting herds. It was a really niche 2D fighter, sprite-based fighter, and it did all right in the Kickstarter. It raised some funds from the community. They got things up and running, and they just never broke out of that Kickstarter niche. And so they ended up closing the project. And of course, the community was pissed, that they never delivered, et cetera, et cetera. But, I mean, the money that they raised was most likely used to develop that game. I mean, they did develop quite a bit on that game. And as a developer, you can kind of see, you can see some telltale signs when a game is like, yeah, we had $1 million, blah, 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 and we spent it all on development, and this was the game that we released. And you're like, that wasn't $1 million, but this game, they did the best that they could. And, costs for development have spiked significantly in the last even 2 years, more so than they have in the past. Developer rates have doubled or tripled in a lot of regions, and the pandemic caused some supply issues in terms of resources, local resources for a lot of these companies, ours included. There are a huge amount of challenges, but ultimately, by decentralizing things, you enable necro development. So a project does close. If somebody happens to just buy up all of the NFTs for that collection, and they're like, yeah, I've got all these NFTs, I got all this stuff, let's relaunch, let's do something different with it. There's nobody going to go after them for stealing the IP of those characters, because they own them. And I think that's really cool. So your community can kind of put their money where their mouth is, and if the developers can't deliver, they can step up and they can take over. So this kind of opens it up into what we started to see with kind of open game licensing, open license for development and code, where projects start out with good ideas. They maybe don't make it quite there, but somebody else is able to take that code and push it further, just because they have the time, the passion, or they even have the funds to do it. How essential is it for bringing Web 2 users into Web 3? I think that's that's a huge topic. But maybe it helps to kind of define what is Web 3 versus Web 2, and essentially, it's that non-custodial element. But does it even have to be a non-custodial wallet to be considered Web 3? Can you have a custodial wallet still be considered? I'm a Web 3 gamer. I don't actually have the private key to my wallet, but I access it and I use that wallet. Yeah, it's a tricky question, because like I said, majority of users don't want that level of control. They want a lot of that heavy lifting to be done for them. They want somebody to fall back on when something goes wrong. And I don't see average users, grandma, for example, easy enough for grandma. I don't see grandma ever really needing a non-custodial wallet. So what I think has to happen is, I think gaming and other industries that can take advantage of Web3 technologies need to understand this, and they need to make those tools, like Haven was talking about earlier, so that it's there. It's just not something that the user has to worry about. I want to come in and I want to have some amazing, assets. I want to have, a couple of skins. I want to have a couple of weapons and blah, blah, blah. And then, these weapons actually have value. Okay, maybe I'll trade them, because I want to go play this game and I want to put some resources into that. And I can do that without ever having to, type in a seed phrase, or, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Haven.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, like, don't you think it's an important thing to have both things? So if they don't want to see that seed phrase,
sorry,
it can be saved, right?
I didn't want to say that, you don't want to ever give anybody the opportunity to, make a custodial wallet. But certainly you can give them the education, like, okay, this is your custodial wallet. We have control over this wallet. If you want control over this wallet, this is how you do it. And this is why you would want to do that,
Yeah.
And then that education kind of happens naturally. And then I think, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, everybody kind of understands that, and they'll have, varying levels of control over various wallets in their portfolio. And some of them will be, completely centralized and custodial, and some of them will be very protected and personal. And they can even reference each other. You can have your personal ID and everything like that in a very, cold storage, never access this wallet, except when I need to change something or go to, the Port Authority office, like, something really official, I got to get my buddy out of jail or something, like, I got to go to court
Yeah.
to defend myself, against murder allegation or whatever, now I have my wallet, and this is my ID.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we don't bring out a social security number and just share that with everybody. And that was the reason. It was supposed to be a protected number that only authorized individuals had access to and would use that to verify and control your identity. And I think that as the digital age becomes more and more complex, something of that line is going to be necessary. And I think there are so many other things outside of gaming where blockchain is super crucial, and we should have been pushing this for years now. Voting and our public officials and representatives, their actions should be on chain so that we can see what they're doing.
To track it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to be watching, the foxes in the hen house, so to speak. And there is a reason why it hasn't been implemented yet, and it's because they don't want that, But power to the people. You just don't give them a choice. But at the same time, we don't have enough education, to the masses. Granny doesn't know what a blockchain is yet. But the more we can do that, the more we can bring people in, allow them to participate in on-chain gaming and on-chain, recreation, they can start to understand those things in a safe and productive way such that we can make those societal changes. Also, super deep topic. I keep
I love it.
So I'm really sorry about that.
No, I love it. I think you and I could go down some pretty deep rabbit holes for sure. So, let's keep it going for sure. Does anybody else want to add anything in? I do have to apologize to Diga. I apologize. I was mispronouncing your guys' name. I'm going to chalk it up to it being 5 a.m. where I'm at right now. So, bear with me on this one. It's kind of early. I'm already too deep into Red Bull, so it's turning out to be a good day. So my apologies to Diga.
Yeah.
But
no worries. Yeah, thanks so much. Great.
This is really not a problem, mate. No worries. And we call it DiGard, but it's not a problem.
Yep. So I think you've got another member from your team that's going to be joining us. Is that correct?
Yeah, we were actually. John, let me ping him again. Maybe he were here, but I think we lost him.
Okay. No problem. Did you want to add anything to that before we move on to the next topic?
Well, yeah, I agree. I agree most of the thoughts you put, and I also believe that like the Web3 assets will bring like being an owner to the in-game assets will bring most of the gamers, and giving an easy access for the like a grandmas would help also to bring a lot of Web2 players. I think the projects, the games that provide these two to the gamers will achieve success. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the games in the future, it's not going to matter whether it's, especially tagging it a Web3 game is going to kind of throw up roadblocks, but making it accessible, making it fun, and then having those proven use cases of why it's valuable to have this on chain in those games just automatically. I mean, we were talking with somebody who was trying to sell like a World of Warcraft account or something like that, and was worried about getting scammed. So he's talking to his mom about putting it on into a crypto wallet or something like that, so that they could exchange it that way. Yeah, I mean, there's been too long too long insecurities with value transfer, aftermarket value transfer in games. And if we put value in our gaming exercises, our gaming activities for ourselves, and there's value for others for that effort, for that value, we should have tools that make it safe for them to transfer those values. And that's essentially what Web3 does.
For sure. And, one of the biggest things and the reasons why I joined Layer 1X is because I feel like I've been in crypto since 2017. And since 2017, there has been no real change in the user experience for all of crypto that I've been in. And it's been kind of
might have actually gotten worse.
I agree with you, because they just keep making a copy of a copy of a copy, right? And so it gets weaker
Right.
and weaker and weaker. And so I've had the privilege to help a couple of different projects with their user experience before coming to Layer 1X. And Layer 1X has definitely provided a platform for me to try to vocalize and to try to prompt change, which is great. And I'm of the believer that I think that decentralization can definitely exist without sacrificing the user experience. And so there are things that have been thrown out, like centralized wallets, this and that. And we feel like that all of that can be done under the hood. And there's a lot of movements that we're trying to make at Layer 1X that actually, here's some alpha for you, I guess you could say. We're trying to move away from having to have those seed phrases, right? Being able to verify who you are through other means that will allow you to tap into some different resources to still keep things decentralized, but give it that centralized feel, and being able to recoup, access to your wallets, access to your NFTs, those kind of things. And so it's really curious to see. I'm curious to see, where do you guys think that in the next probably 2 to 3 years, with newer technology coming out, where would you like to take your games and your projects?
Wow. First of all, that's super cool. I hope to see some stuff like, biometrics being used, or, physical devices being used to verify identity. There's a lot of IDs that are already storing digital, identifiers and stuff like that could be used as seed phrases to access or to verify access to a wallet. It's crazy how easy sometimes it is for a wallet to be compromised. Even though it has those layers of security, if that private key has been transferred, there's human vulnerabilities, there's network vulnerabilities, there's obviously, we saw the library hack that happened at the end of last year, which everybody was like, what is going on? Like, why is this happening? Um, and I think, I just think it's super cool that we'll see some of those things here in the very near future. Yeah, that's all. I'll let somebody else take the actual question. Didn't mean to derail.
I just got very confused. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, basically just, where do you guys see your projects heading with the new tech that's rolling out in the next, 1 to 2 years, basically, with digital identities coming out, interoperability coming out, technology to tap into faster speeds for processing your games. I mean, you tell me, where do you see your project heading in the next 1 to 2 years with the new tech rolling out?
Well, okay. Now, if we're gonna talk about identities, there's not much that I can say when it comes to the game itself. It's because it's not something that's really required. Let's say it like that. When it comes to new technologies, of course, we always try to utilize new things that are coming up in our game. So let's say, for example, now we had something that had to do with an AI. So we're making sure that our bots in game are actually, like they do the stuff that these new technologies can bring us. So the AI will not be repeating the same words over and over again, or doing the same actions over and over again, as an example. In terms of interoperability, again, that's definitely something that we're doing already. We're utilizing that. We're trying to, have as many chains as possible at the same time. We want that connection to happen. We want cross-platform compatibility. We want to make sure that, obviously, everyone wants to make sure that they have most of the community in their games, and specifically. Now, I'm talking about games, obviously, because we're a gaming project. There's a lot of other things, or a lot of other opinions that can be out there. For us, there's a lot that we're planning. As I said before, also, we're launching like multiple games after this. And we want to make sure that you can use anything that you're going to use for this game that you can use in the games afterwards, whether it's the tokens or whether it's the NFTs. And most important, multiple blockchains at the same time.
Perfect. Thank you. Does anybody else want to add anything? Go.
Processing. Go the remote processing power is going to be pretty awesome in terms of allowing mobile users to access more AAA looking and feeling titles with physics and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that NunuSpirits will have a lot more physics gameplay, physics-based gameplay in the future. A couple years down the road. Like I mentioned, UGC is going to be huge. So we are working towards that as well. Within the next 2 to 3 years, having a strong UGC community that's building content for the game and being rewarded for building that content for the game. It's kind of going to be like the new version of live ops. Like right now, live ops is all about, the team just working, constantly churning new content out every, month or 2 months or whatever, to keep people interested and engaged. where I think the communities will take over a lot of that drive, that effort. As far as the ability to fund games, I think that's also something that NFTs still offer a pretty significant advantage over old school publishing. And I think we're seeing quite a few platforms coming now that are looking at publishing, the publishing of games. Crowdfunding of games will also change, as they can be rewarded with tokens or assets from inside of the game. So I mean, the landscape is going to be moving so fast that I think any prediction that we make right now is just it's way too early to tell. But we'll get back to that question, next month.
I love that. I love that answer. Anybody else want to add anything?
Yeah, like for us, like interoperability is quite like one of the most important stuff in it. And also like we are really into it, like I love like work of layer 1 X team, like interoperability stuff. But like from next few years, we truly believe, like interoperability stuff is the biggest, was for Web3 gaming. Like gaming always needed a very fast TPS and also finality and also like scalability. But just one blockchain is not really enough, for next triple gaming and also the huge title, maybe in next bull run, we have more 10x users or like 100x users. So we always need a new chain, new blockchains.
Right.
Yeah. So in that case, it's gonna be super hard, for making, we have maybe 110 or 100 blockchain or like 200 blockchain, but like transferring the asset and also like experience of each user is gonna be super hard, So yeah, like interoperability of all the like asset and also like experience and also like on ramp and off ramp, is quite important. So we SAKABA, like we also utilize an infrastructure for like interoperability between like each blockchain. But yeah, like we totally believe the infrastructure for cross chain and also interoperability is quite important. And like that's the stuff, we are really utilizing it. We're not really gaming, but yeah, we kind of really interested in that one. Yeah. Sorry for like adding the 1 point, but yeah, that's about it.
No,
Yeah.
you hit it right on the head. So appreciate you sharing that with us. For sure, interoperability is definitely going to be the key, not only for Web3 gaming, but it's definitely going to be key for everything across the board, especially in the bull run that's coming up soon. Fingers crossed that it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Because now is the optimal time for interoperability and for all projects, chains to unite and to grow together, especially in this next bull run. So one last question for you guys. I know we're just a little over our hour mark, but I definitely want to ask this question. Give you guys a second. How can listeners learn more about your project and stay updated on its progress? So if you want to take 30 seconds and kind of do your last remarks, that would be great. And we want to thank you guys all for coming on and participating as our guest panelists on our X Talks for the gaming topic today. And so, yeah, who wants to go first?
I can go ahead. So thanks to you, first of all, and thanks to Layer 1X for this awesome AMA or Twitter Spaces that we're doing. And how you can hear more from us, obviously you can join our Discord channel, follow our X account. Soon we're going to ready a Telegram channel for chats. So you can follow us, check out our website, and that's how you can get all the latest news from us. And make sure to join the free mint end of this month.
Yeah, so please let us follow. So actually, as I mentioned before, like SAKABA is a gaming and economic engine for Web3 games, and we utilize in NFT and also Bright Market for Web3 gaming. And we are about to start our pre-season, from this Q1, hopefully from this February. So yeah, please follow our Twitter like X account, and all the important information is also on our Discord, So please follow this Twitter and also come to our Discord room. Yeah, and thank you so much for such an amazing day. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to thank you for this amazing session. And we have 2 upcoming events actually with both DigaLabs and Elderun site. Feel free to join our socials. We have Discord, X, and Telegram for both DigaLabs and Elderun. And ask anything you would like to have answer those questions. And thanks again.
Thanks, Diga. We appreciate you guys coming on.
Thanks, Cryptonaut. Awesome panel, great guests. It's fun discussion. Hopefully, I didn't derail us too bad. But this is such a huge topic, and so there are a lot of aspects. So I really appreciate it. It was a really fun talk. Coming off the holidays, coming off COVID. I hope my voice wasn't too lame for all y'all. Find out more about NunuSpirits. I put something up in the Jumbotron. You can find us there, nunuspirits.io. You can download the game and play it for free. It's not an on-chain game. It's just a normal Web2 game, but the Web3 portal is up on our site as well. And that's where you can get a hold of NFTs and all kinds of other stuff there. We're continuing to build. We're working on multiplayer. Hopefully we can get there. Join us in the Discord. We have a very active Discord with lots of discussions and events happening there. And hope to see you all there. Please do check out everybody else. I managed to find some gameplay from Haven's Compass that I threw up in the Jumbotron as well. So make sure you give a shout out to those looks like a really fun game. Hopefully, you guys can check that out. Yeah, like, follow, show up and say hi to these amazing communities if you can, and of course, give your love to Layer 1 X for hosting this, to Cryptonaut for having us here. It's been awesome. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. It has definitely been a great AMA. I love going down these deep rabbit holes. So anytime you guys want to go down another rabbit hole, let me know. I'm happy to jump on a chat with you guys. But yes, definitely check out all of the guest websites, as well as make sure you follow them. We're definitely going to be following them, because I think there's going to be some good stuff coming from you guys over this next year in 2024. So with that, until next time, we'll talk to everybody later. Have a good rest of your day, evening, whatever time it is for you. And don't forget about our next AMA happening tomorrow. Watch Twitter for the notification and to set your reminder. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Hey, everyone.